Flipboard today. We've taken our red couch to CNN, and we're here with John King.
Welcome.
You are anchor of Inside Politics.
I am.
Chief National Correspondent.
It's a big fancy title.
It is.
Still costs me $3 for a cup of coffee at Starbucks, but it's a great title.
Thank you for having us. We really appreciate it. I would like to start with the magic wall. And you are known for this magic wall.
Right.
So I hear that the wall wasn't made for you necessarily.
The wall was made for CNN. David Borman, who was our bureau chief at the time, found it actually at a military trade show because its first use, was founded by this brilliant technology guy who developed it, and his first client was actually the Pentagon, the CIA. It was used for military and intelligence purposes, and David found it at a military trade show, and he was sort of an impresario, and he said, I can do some business on television with that. And so then they decided to use it in the 2008 campaign, and no, I have to be humble and admit I was not the first choice to use the magic wall. But they decided after Iowa caucus night to maybe do Magic Wall 2.0, and that ended up being me on the night of the New Hampshire primary.
How do you think it's changed the way that politics is covered?
One of the things I found in my travels in 2008 was that people would thank me for coming to their community on the wall. Never mind my travels coming to the community, but on the map, or of showing you. Look, it's easy for the glaze factor. You know, how many votes does somebody have? What county are we talking about? It's just hard to follow. But if you can say, come with me, I'm going to show you. What are we waiting for? Why does Cuyahoga County matter? What is this little county in Indiana that's holding up the call between Clinton and Obama? Well, let's go.
That's something I would love to get into is the election cycle. What is it that you do to stay up on the news? And you say you travel and you like being out there. It has to be taxing.
It's taxing. In the first year of the Obama administration, when I was doing a Sunday show, we did 50 states in 52 weeks.
Wow.
We just decided, we started traveling every week. I always say that I refuse to become a creature of Washington. Now I work in Washington, I spend most of my time in Washington, but Washington is not America. Washington doesn't have a car factory. Washington doesn't have, an unemployment crisis. This is a government town. There's nothing wrong with government. We need a Defense Department, we need the high-tech industry around D.C., but it's not real. And I mean, it's real, but it's not America.
So you have had a very impressive career, especially at CNN. You've been here for over 15 years,
17.
17 years,
17
so
years.
Coming up on 20.
Right. What do I get for that?
I wish I had a gift for you. What is it that makes you love your job and that makes you come back year after year?
Don't tell my bosses this, but they pay me to learn. I call this the curiosity business, and I'm insatiably curious about people, about places, about why people. The thing that fascinates me about politics is no disrespect to any president or speaker or prime minister, what the title is, how did they get there? What were people mad about or excited about that made them organize? Especially at a time when the economy is changing so fast and people are under such stress. Most families, mom and dad are both working, sometimes 2 or 3 jobs. And so people are under such pressure, their lives are so crowded, that what then makes you want to go to a school committee meeting, or makes you want to volunteer for Obama, or for Romney, or for Congressman X? What motivates you to do that and then organize it?
Absolutely. So at Flipboard, we think that great content moves the world forward. And so many of the stories you talk about, people can find those stories and engage in those stories on Flipboard. Is there a piece of content anytime in your life that has really stayed with you and has maybe changed your life?
I remember in college reading stories, mostly in the New York Times. I just remember at the time because I had a professor, but about the conflict in the Middle East. And it just struck me as why? Why? I grew up in Boston during forced busing, and so the racial tensions always fascinated me. Why do people, hatred, why? And I remember reading the stories about the Middle East, and I just wanted to know why. And that's sort of a simplistic, naive question. If you study history, you can understand why. But I always thought, I'm going to go see that someday. I want to go see it and feel it and say, why? And when you go to this tiny little space and you understand the tribal and the ethnic and the religious tensions, you still maybe don't understand why in the big picture, why they can't fix it, why they can't find a way out of it, but you understand why, at least historically, looking back. That's what I remember. That's when I started to get interested in what I call the curiosity business. Yeah,
we talked about how you like to be on the road to really get into the story, and especially during election cycles. But what is your media diet outside of that?
Well, when I'm home, I tell you just this morning, I'm predictable to begin. I start with the Post, the Times, and the Wall Street Journal. They're in the driveway every day. I'm still old school. Again, I know I can do that online, but I just like the feel of a newspaper.
Yeah.
I usually get on the bike in the morning and I recycle yesterday's beer to make room for today's and read the newspaper. And that takes 30, 45 minutes to an hour, depending on how thick the papers are that day, or if I need to read everything, or if I'm skimming. The great gift of technology is that you can do that now, like that.
Yeah. Now you can just create a Flipboard magazine of
right.
all the
Now
clips.
you can do. Now you can use Flipboard this year, to be as smart as any idiot like John King. You can do it at home and create your own map.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time. And to everyone watching, if you'll please be sure to follow John King's magazine on Flipboard.
And when you do, you have to root for the Red Sox. Sorry.
Exactly. Oh, thank you so
All right?
much. Yes.